Welcome to an all-new episode of SJHL Insider, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or if you are watching on the YouTubes, welcome to an all-new episode of SJHL Insider. And I've got to say, this might be the episode I've been most excited for in a long time for SJHL Insider. Today, we will be doing myself, Clark Monroe, Rory McGoran, Jamie Neugebauer. We will be doing our SJHL Fantasy Draft, similar to what we did in the playoffs with our fantasy pool for the playoff pool, but we're doing a regular season pool. So very exciting. The boys will be in a bit. We'll do the draft. It's going to be exciting. I'll explain the rules then, but we do have some stuff to talk about. Before we get to it, though, big shout out to our sponsors. Of course, SJHL Insider, SJHL Weekly, all the SJHL shows are presented by UPL and all of our great friends down low, as you can see on the screen. Borgo, Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Great Western, Nutrien, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, Sask Lotteries, UPL, who, of course, like I said, present all the shows, Sask Energy, SGEU, SGI. Thank you so much for your support. Without your support, these shows would not be possible. And of course, to stay up to date with everything in the SJHL, go to our social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on the X, formerly known as Twitter. Clark doesn't like that. Yeah. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's clap it up for everybody who subscribed to the YouTube channel. We are over 1,000 subscribers and we are on the rise. So let's keep it up. It's free. Hit that subscribe button. Log into your Gmail. It's as easy as that. Now that we've taken care of business, let's bring in Clark Monroe. Clark,
now we can really take care of business.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a big BTO guy.
Yes.
And I always take care of business.
Absolutely, you do.
I think you gotta.
Firsthand evidence of that.
Yes.
Firsthand experience.
I appreciate that.
Jeromy, hi. This is exciting. This
Hello.
is a big day. This is a big day.
Hi.
It's so funny because we did this last year in the playoffs, the fantasy draft.
Yeah.
Who won that one?
I actually don't remember.
It was me.
Oh, was it?
By a lot. I crushed it.
And you know what? And I'm sure, I've talked to Rory and Jamie about it. Partially their fault.
Oh, totally their fault.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, let's call them out. Sure.
But it's totally their fault, but I'm going to take full credit for, executing so well.
I don't know if leaving 2/3 of the best line in the SJHL available for the person who has the fourth and the fifth pick to swing them both. That was tidy work by you.
For those who,
as soon as you picked them, I knew right away. I was like, this is going to be an uphill battle for the three of us. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, for those who might have forgotten, I can't remember how the picks exactly went in the order at the beginning, but I had the 4th overall pick, and Holden Dole and Jake Southgate were just sitting there for me.
That's correct.
And I said, I'll take Holden Dole and Jake Southgate.
So
and that won me the whole thing.
If I remember correctly, it went Kian Bell by me.
You had him.
I think Cage Newens.
Yes, I think he was first round.
For Rory.
For Rory.
And then Neugsie took Tynan Ewart, which then allowed
that his first round pick?
It was.
I mean, great first round. I mean, great pick.
And then it opened the door for you.
Yeah.
That's how it went.
Yeah.
But this year will be I'll explain it when the boys get in to the video chat, but it's going to be a lot more different, a lot more expanded. Obviously, when it's not a playoff pool, you get to, pick from all 12 teams. So it'll be a lot of fun. And
this is going to be intense. I'm nervous, but I think it's going to be fun.
Well, you got a title to defend.
I know.
So no wonder why you're nervous.
Yeah, we'll see.
See, for Rory, for example, he even said in our group chat, guess what? Can only go up from where he was.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of fun. But before we get to that, a couple of games this week in the SJHL to start the week. So let's talk about it. Tuesday, pair of games on the schedule. The L'Orange Ice Wolves kicking off 4 games in 5 nights, and they fell to the Humboldt Broncos. 6-2. Broncos improved to 3-0 on the year. So far, so good for Scott Barney and company. And so far, so good, really, for the Weyburn Red Wings as well. They earn a 5-1 victory over the Notre Dame Hounds to remain undefeated in regulation. And then Wednesday, also known as yesterday, the L'Orange Ice Wolves continued their road swing, moving into the Parkland region. And despite being, I would say, heavily outshot in that game, they earn a 4-2 victory over the Yorkton Terriers to get back in the win column, snap that 3-game losing skid. Let's start with the Ice Wolves.
Yeah.
Obviously, a pair of games taking on the Humboldt Broncos, losing 6-2, and then bouncing back with that 4-2 victory over Yorkton. But first thing I just want to, I guess, touch on, with L'Orange is obviously in their 3 losses, to the 2 to Flin Flon, the 1 to Humboldt, if my math is correct, that's 24 goals against in 3 games, which means you're not going to win a lot of hockey games allowing that much. And even the game against Yorkton, they gave up 40-plus shots. And if it wasn't for Topher Chirico, who knows how that game goes. I mean, know it's only 5 games into this season, but is this cause for concern for the Ice Wolves when it comes to their, I guess, just their defensive play to start the year?
It can't be ignored. But at the same time, I mean, this was a tough road trip too. I mean, going down to Humboldt and then all the way down to York.
It also stems back further than that.
Yeah, you're right. Good
Not
point.
just this road trip. I'm talking about even the first 5 games of the season.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
no, you're right. And there's some more math for you, Jer. I just did it in my head. 95 shots against in 2 games, 39-4, 95 to 39. And you know, and we all know that Kevin Kaminski and Kyle Schneider they're in their offices right now figuring this out. Like, sure. I can't imagine. I mean, they're the first ones to admit. They would be the first ones to admit that that's not how they want to be playing hockey. That's not how the L'Orange Ice Wolves we saw last year. That's not the L'Orange Ice Wolves that we know that they can be this year as well.
Well, there were times last year where they did give up a lot of shots.
That's fair. You're right.
They did give up a lot of shots.
And last year they had the benefit of having one of the best. I was going to say one of the best duos, but Dawson Smith.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it also comes down to shot quality too, right?
Yeah.
From coming from a former goalie, if you're facing 40 shots a night and they're all from the outside, I mean, that's a pretty.
Could be worse.
It might look like it's a difficult evening.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to quality control when it comes to shots on goal.
I mean, the one thing that we laughed about, you sent me the picture last night after one period. I think, what were the shots? 14 to 1?
15-1 Yorkton, at least the graphic I saw, 15-1 Yorkton. And it was 1-0 L'Orange.
1-0 L'Orange.
So good efficiency for the Ice Wolves on
the shooting percentage. Period.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? And again, it's 5 games into the season.
Yeah.
There were 5 games into the season. Usually there's going to be rough patches near the beginning of the year, trying to figure out new systems, new players coming in and everything like that. And I think at the end of the day too, when you look at the Ice Wolves right now, they're playing 4 games in 5 nights, all on the road. If today they have a day off, if they go into Melville Friday and they go into Yorkton Saturday and they pull out 2 wins and you go 3-1 on this road trip, you're laughing. You're very happy with that, especially considering now how more difficult this road trip would be compared to last year, because obviously Melville and Yorkton last year weren't as strong as I think they are this year.
Yeah, well, and maybe we'll get to that in a sec, just in terms of the Viterra division. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's early, and I think, like you said, L'Orange had quite a bit of turnover this year, so I know they had a lot of good players coming back, but yeah, it might take them a couple of weeks to get everybody on board. And again, this is a road trip that it's long distance for them. It's a big road trip, back-to-back games. They won the second half of the back-to-back.
And it's a step in the right direction for the Ice Wolves, but obviously they'll want to still clean up their play in the defensive zone. Let's talk a little bit about obviously the Humboldt Broncos. Probably, well, they are. I can tell you that for sure. Them and the Melville Millionaires, as of right now, going into Friday night's action, they played the least amount of games. They've only played 3, but I'll say this: they've looked impressive in all 3 games. Obviously, the 2 wins against Notre Dame and an impressive win over L'Orange, and really they're getting a lot of scoring by committee right now, which is what you kind of really want to see, especially at the start of the year. It's a really good sign. Yeah,
I mean, I think we talked about it on this show before the season started in our preview show on Insider, but they have a very balanced team. Like they have a lot of places where they could beat you every night, and that's a great sign for a junior A team. It's always fun to see guys put up, like last year, Kean Bell, 50 goals. And I'm not saying anything about Battleford's not being a balanced team last year. That's not what I'm trying to say. But it's nice as a junior A team if you can get a lot of guys putting up some production, instead of just always maybe relying on a top line or 3 or 4 guys. If you can get scoring from 3, maybe even 4 lines, your blue lines moving the puck and being hard to play against, and you're seeing it right now. 3 games. I know it's only 3, 17 goals for, 5 against.
Well, and just to build off that Tuesday, they went 3 for 4 on the power play too. Yeah. Power play. Humboldt had the best power play last year in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Yeah. But yeah, you just even look at the stat sheet from Tuesday night's game for them. Matthew Van Blaricom had 2. Spencer Bell had 2. Connor Miller added a goal. Travis Bryson had a goal and 2 assists. And quietly, Benjamin Motu made stop 22 out of 24 for the victory. So far, so good for Humboldt. And I got to say, we've talked about it a few times, I think, on Weekly. What an odd schedule to start the year for Humboldt. You play your first home-and-home with the Notre Dame Hounds, and you have 9 days off.
Yeah.
You come back, you take on L'Orange. It doesn't look like you miss a beat. And then you have another 5 days off. They don't play until Sunday when they host the Notre Dame Hounds, who have to play 3 games in 3 nights. So a bit of an odd schedule for Humboldt. But, the good news when you have a schedule like that to start the season, a lot of time to practice. Mm-hmm. And you can it's a good learning opportunity for all the younger players coming in and the new players coming in and, trying out some new things in practice and then figuring it out for the game. I just mentioned Notre Dame, so let's talk about that other game. The Notre Dame Hounds falling 5-1 to the Weyburn Red Wings. Which side of the puck would you like to start on with that one?
Let's go to the Hounds. You mentioned the Hounds. Let's start there. Yeah.
0-4 to start the season.
Yeah.
Still looking for their first win of the campaign. And honestly, I hate saying it, but it doesn't get any easier for them.
No.
They have one of the toughest road trips this weekend that I've seen in a long time in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. They play Flin Flon Friday, Flin Flon Saturday, and then a 4:00 game in Humboldt on Sunday, which it's not that close. It's not the closest. I'm going to Google Maps it.
Yeah, Google Maps it.
When you look at the Hounds to start the year, obviously, going 0-4 isn't ideal. But now they're 0-5.
0-5. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah,
because of the loss to Weyburn.
Yeah.
My bad. But only 7 goals for in 5 games, 28 goals against. And maybe one of these lengthy road trips will kind of be the spark they need. But they're playing 2 very difficult teams and 2 very difficult buildings.
Yeah, and as you Google Maps that,
I'm Google.
I'm also very curious.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's early in the season for everybody. But like you said,
you can't fall
a tough schedule.
Behind.
That's not a good way to start. No,
you can't.
The tough schedule, though, for me, I look at it as, Notre Dame they lost some really key guys from last year as well. And Neugsie would be the first one to tell you a few of the names. But they did lose a few key guys. And maybe a really, really hard road trip to start the year might actually be kind of like that learn by fire type of thing that might serve them well later in the year.
Good.
I'm just trying to see some grass greener on the other side here. But I mean, you look at this box score from Tuesday. 1 for 8 on the power play. I mean, they didn't. It's not like they weren't getting shots.
Right.
They had 31 shots against. Was it Eric Call? Eric Kale was in net for that one for Weyburn. So I mean, Eric Kale had a nice game for Weyburn, who just continues to get great goaltending. I mean, unbelievably, it's good to start to the year. We'll get to that in a sec with Weyburn, but for Notre Dame, it's a tough start. Like you said, a tough schedule. But grass is greener. Maybe this will serve them well as they continue to grow as a team.
And that's a really good point to make. Is 2 games against Humboldt, Melfort.
Yeah.
Nipawin, Weyburn.
And then Flin Flon, Humboldt.
Well, I mean, look at those. Yeah, I mean, those 5 losses to start the season. Look at those teams. I think all of us had talked about how those teams are going to be this year.
And they're all currently, at the moment, top of the league.
Yeah, and obviously, Weyburn's been so good defensively to start the campaign, and it's hard when you're struggling on offense and then you play a team that's so good, has such great goaltending, and then so good defensively. It's unfortunate for sure. I did Google Maps it.
Okay.
It is. So I guess distance-wise, it's 518 kilometers.
Okay.
According to Google Maps, that's 5 hour 43-minute drive based off the quickest route.
Wow.
So
How fast is that bus going? I feel like that's a slow bus. 500 kilometers?
518. But you have to remember the types of roads you're taking.
Yeah, I guess.
But anyways, it's interesting to think about because if you have a 4:00 game in Humboldt, usually the teams show up 2 hours before. So that would be 2.
Yeah, we work backwards here,
minus 5.5 hours to be safe.
Yeah.
I mean, you're leaving pretty early Sunday morning.
After 2 games.
Oh boy. And I don't know that we don't know their travel plans, but that'll be a tough one.
Yeah.
That'll be a tough one. That third game in 3 nights, and
hey, you know what?
Gotta drive 5.5 hours.
Good luck, Notre Dame.
Let's go to the other side.
Rooting for you.
Let's talk about Weyburn. Weyburn's been a nice, pleasant surprise, I think, to the start of the year for a lot of teams. I mean, going into Friday, guess what? They've got the most points in the league.
As we all predicted, the Viterra division is exactly how we thought it would be 5 games into the year.
But 5 games in, 4-0-0-1.
Yeah.
Weyburn's lone loss comes in a shootout. But for me, it's in 5 games, it's 7 goals against.
Yeah.
That's what stands out.
Yeah.
You touched on the amazing goaltending, but I don't think it's just the amazing goaltending. I think it's
everything.
And quietly, they have a very good, sound, deep blue line.
Yeah.
Which helps. And as a result, I wouldn't say Weyburn has the most high octane, high profile offense in the SJHL.
But they're kind of doing what we were talking about earlier, that by committee.
They're doing it by committee right now. And maybe, we'll find out. There has been some guys that have definitely, stepped up to start this year. But I'm sure it's only 5 games in, like we've said, chemistry will be built. The team up front will get better and the goals will come. But the fact that to start the year, only 7 goals against.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's great.
It's unbelievable.
And on top of that, Jeromy, can you just give me a second to just say what their penalty kill percentage is right
100.
now? I got 96.4. But,
yes.
I mean,
that was going into, I think
100 going into last night or their game.
Yes, it was 100 going into the Hounds.
They did score one goal.
The Hounds 1 goal.
96.4. Now again, 5 games, but you're going to win games if your penalty kill is 96.4%.
Well, and what do they always say? Who's your best penalty killer?
I would suggest that the saying goes, it's the goaltender.
Sure is.
And I mean, they also have the top power play percentage in the Viterra division specifically. So I mean, they're doing everything right now. And now it's just a matter of, like you said, are we going to see some guys on that team step up statistically, or are they going to just be committee, which is fine. Committee all year is great. You can win games that way.
There's balance.
Exactly. And you can win games that way.
It makes for balance.
And like you said, they got a good blue line. Their goaltending's already there, and it's probably going to be there given what we know about Dazza Mitchell and Eric Kale.
I mean, look at that. That's a great 1-2 punch.
Yeah, exactly. A wily vet in Dazza, who's already back-to-back. I'm calling him a wily vet.
A wily vet.
Yeah, he's been in the league a couple years.
It's weird to call a 19-year-old a wily vet.
He's been in the league a couple years. But like, back-to-back goalie of the week, followed by, the young guy Eric Kale, who already saw action last year, and now he's already showing that he can do it again this year. So, great start for Weyburn.
And boy, oh boy. Setting up for a great matchup this weekend for Weyburn, which we'll get into.
We'll get into it
after the fantasy draft. But that's kind of how the last 2 days in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League have been. Before we dive into the fantasy draft and bring the boys in, there is one thing I want to plug on SJHL.ca. Well, first off, going into the weekend, if you haven't read the SJHL latest edition of the SJHL Power Rankings, go take a look at that at SJHL.ca. But also, Neugsie started a new segment on SJHL.ca called Saskatchewan's Finest, and it's focusing on Saskatchewan content in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. I know I saw a comment on one of our posts being like, don't forget that there's a team technically in Manitoba too. We know that there's a team in Manitoba. We love Flin Flon.
Yep.
We love the Bombers. But this feature that Neugsie is doing is focusing on Saskatchewan content in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. So there's going to be a focus on players, coaches, volunteers, you name it, throughout all 12 organizations. And if you haven't read the first one, it's really good. Neugsie's a phenomenal writer. When it comes to long form writing, Neugsie's very good at it. And this was a very, very good piece. And the first one is on head coach and GM of the Battleford's North Stars, Mr. Braden Klamosko. And it's a really very well done piece.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're an SJHL fan and you haven't, heard about Braden Klamosko at this point, I mean, come on.
If you haven't, you might be under a rock a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But if you don't know much about him, read the article. It's a great article. Yep. Shout out to Neugs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Neugsie.
And I'm not surprised. Neugsie's a very good
great writer.
And he's going to hear this after we record the draft.
Oh, I see.
But I just mean after we record the draft, he's going to watch the show and he's going to hear that. And I guarantee we'll get a message.
Yeah.
But
we'll get him. He'll be blushing.
So be sure to go to SJHL.ca. Those are going to be released every Wednesday.
I already can't wait for the next one.
And I was told, Neugsie gave me the lowdown on the next one, on the next topic. I'm not going to spoil it. That's for him to do. But it should also be a great feature as well.
I'm excited.
So go to SJHL.ca to check all those out. But without further ado, let's bring the boys in and let's get right in to our SJHL Fantasy Draft. And the guys are here, Rory and Jamie. It is time for the SJHL Fantasy Draft. Guys, are you excited? Rory, how you think about your draft position?
I do love I do got to wash off a lot of dirt that I created for myself from the playoff draft. So I've dove into the analytics to the Blue Jay fans. I've taken a pre-draft shower. I feel refreshed. I feel ready. And I feel like I'm going to pick the top team this year in the regular season.
Rory, are you going to quit the draft after the third pick? Is that what you're saying with the Blue Jays reference? Or what are you talking about?
Hot start, and I'm getting the yank.
Get out of there.
Actually, Rory's going to get pulled after his third pick, and somebody else is going to come in and do the rest of the draft.
Oh, no.
And just to establish, too, you might see the order kind of the squares on the screen. This is our draft order. It'll go myself, then Rory, then down to Clark, and then to Neugsie, and it is a snake draft for anybody watching and listening, of course. So then we'll do the reverse on the way back. So here are the rough rules. You pick 10 players. One goalie included in that, and then a minimum of 2 defensemen. So I probably going to look at 7 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie. Neugsie, how much strategy did you go into when it comes to doing your prep for the SJ draft? I know you finished. You were happy with your third place podium finish in the playoff pool, but what are your thoughts going into this year's big full season draft?
Yeah, I'm excited to have a bigger sample size. Playoffs are small and crazy things can happen. So, I think this is a real test of what we know about the SJ. And I will also say, as my last point here, is my goal was to beat Rory, and that's all that matters. So, as long as I beat Rory, then it was a gold medal for me, and I did. So
follow-up question: do you have broader expectations for this season, or are you going to keep them with that expectations?
Just beat Rory.
I wanna finish second this year because Clark is a fantasy savant, and I have so much respect for Clark's fantasy ability that if I finish second, I would feel like I was beating the people in my league.
Fair enough. I did say before we started this, before you guys came in, that you guys gave me Holden Dole and Jake Southgate in the playoffs draft last year, and that was a big reason why I had as much success as I did in that playoff draft. But I'm excited. I'm nervous. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
But I got the third pick. So Neugsie, you have the benefit now of having those back-to-back first, second round picks. So I mean, choose wisely, sir.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I will say, because we are doing a fantasy draft and it's a lot bigger than the first fantasy draft, we'll try to be quick on the picks. Make your pick, provide a good little explanation, nothing too crazy though, and we'll fly through this fantasy draft. So guys, are we all ready to go? I don't have a clock for decision making picks. Unfortunately, no clock. So we'll just have to go that way, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, take your time, and we want to make sure we get these picks right. But at the end of the day, this is a show here, guys.
Yeah, totally.
I'll be the one that takes the most time, probably.
Yeah, Clark, it'll be you. You'll be sitting there, and I'll just be staring at you off into the distance.
I'll do my best.
All right, let's get going. So
You're first.
I have the first overall pick. So I guess that means I have to go. So I'll be honest. I hummed and hawed between a couple of players, but I'm going to break somebody's heart here.
Oh no, we talked about this at the beginning of the show.
I am going to take Jacob Vockler of the Flin Flon Bombers, well-known Team Neugsie guy. He's coming to Team Corgi.
Yep.
It was a tough choice, Neugs. I'm sorry, but the first overall pick, I'll take Jacob Vockler of the Flin Flon Bombers.
Reigning MVP and forward of the week.
Rory, you are on the clock, my friend.
Yeah, easy pick for me. I'm staying up in the Sherwood division. I'm taking his line mate, 9 points already, Alexei Silvestri.
Yeah, I really
right.
like that pick. And Rory, spoiler alert, that's who I was going to take. So
Ooh.
he wouldn't have lasted past number 3.
I will say you can take a little bit of time because I do have to enter the picks into the Excel sheet. So don't go too quick because we do got to do that.
We'll slow down. You let me know when you're ready.
Oh, you go.
You ready?
You are ready, Clark. Clark Monroe, you are on the clock.
Okay. And I'm going to stay in the Sherwood division. I'm going to go with Braxton Buckberger, Nipawin. I'm going with him. I'm taking him. I think he's going to have a hot season here. So, 7 points to start the year in 4 games. Give me Braxton Buckberger.
Okay. All right. With the third overall pick, Clark Monroe takes Braxton Buckberger, the Nipawin Hawks. Early on, the Sherwood division taking charge. So, Neugsie, you are on the clock with two picks.
Oh, my God.
So how are you going to do this, my friend?
Yeah, so exciting. Well, I mean,
Jared Sitch is not available, Neugsie. Jared Sitch is not available.
Yes, Jared Sitch is not available. My heart is a little bit broken by that fact.
That's okay.
But what can you do? What can you do? So I'm going to go and take the very first defenseman with my last pick of the first round, and I'm going to take Chase Freetmore from the Melfort Mustangs. Just going to continue to put in goals. I said he's going to score 25 as a defenseman. I don't know if you guys are going to find a defenseman maybe outside of one other guy that's going to put up as many points as him. So we will see. So I'm going to go with that as my first pick. And my second pick, I am going to stay in the Sherwood Division 2, and I am going to go with Zach Summers. So I guess 2 Melfort Mustangs for me.
Nice.
So I'm hitching my wagon quickly to the Melfort Mustangs, and I'm going to go Chase Freemore and Zach Summers.
All right, Zach Summers.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
And spoiler alert, Zach Summers is going to be my next pick. So you guys are just
Clark,
stealing my picks.
you're saying that. Stop.
No.
Get out of here.
I'm going to break.
Oh, that was going to be my next pick. You're that guy.
Now, here's the thing is what I'm going to do. Now, Jeromy, you broke Neugsie's heart earlier in this draft. I'm going to break Rory's heart because in my next pick, I'm going to take Matthew Van Blaircom of the Humboldt Broncos. Sorry, Rory. But
that's okay.
Real recognize real.
You know what? I just want to say something. I am surprised he went that far down.
Well,
I thought he would have been picked.
Steal of the draft.
I thought he would have been picked sooner.
There we go. So there you go. Matthew Van Blaircom. Welcome to the winners.
All right, Rory, you are on the clock, my friend.
Yeah, there's a lot of good picks out there, but I do think I got to get a top D-man out of the way early, and I love pairing power plays together. So I have Alexei Silvestri. Give me Noah Houle of the Flin Flon Bombers for my first defenseman.
Very good. Very good.
Sorry, I'm going silent because I got to type out
and you have a big thing coming up here. You have 2 picks in a row now yourself. So
I do.
You have a lot on
and
the line.
And I'm doing data entry too at the same time.
Data entry.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm a busy bee right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, this plays out well for Team Corgi. We are gonna with the 8th overall pick and our second pick. Mm-hmm. I'm saying our, even though it's just me. I don't know why. I will take from the L'Orange Ice Wolves Mason Buchert.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a hot start with points. For that
I
one.
got a hot start.
Yep.
Hot start.
Shout out to Mason.
I'm all about the, if you can get off to a hot start, it's okay. It makes up for, you don't have to play from behind, So we're going to go with Mason Buchert.
Really
and
great
I
pick.
do like the points that Rory and Neugsie have made requiring getting a good defenseman early too. So with that being said, I'm going to stick with Larange, and I'm going to take Rylan Silzer.
Beautiful pick. Nice back-to-backs.
Kind of similar to, if you can pair up similar to what Rory said, is pairing up potentially the power plays too. So we'll take Silzer. And I got to say, guys, we're starting the third round. A lot of teams up north taken, players taken.
Well, I was just about to say that. There's been 9 people taken so far, right? And 8 of them have been from the Sherwood division. Just Matthew Van Blerkamp for Humboldt, the only player in the top 9 that wasn't from the Sherwood. I'm going outside of the Sherwood, and maybe it's early to take one, but I'm going to take a guy who I'm confident is going to play 40-plus games, hoping to hit 25-plus wins, a few shutout, and I'm taking Ben Motu of the Humboldt Broncos for my goaltender.
Ooh.
Okay. First goalie off the board.
Are we going to see a run on goalies here? I don't know.
I started it early.
Now, I guess
like quarterbacks in fantasy football.
Yeah, and just to again reiterate, one goalie per team.
Yeah.
So now Rory doesn't have to worry about his goalie for the entire draft. And
I like the strategy, and I'm going to steal it. I'm going to go with my pick in the third round.
Oh, okay.
From the Weyburn Red Wings, Daza Mitchell. I'm going to take Daza. One of the best names in the league. And
Daza's such a great name.
And back-to-back goalie of the week to start the year. So I'm going to take Daza Mitchell.
And before Neugsie gets into his back-to-back picks, I will just mention when it comes to the goalies and how we're scoring goaltending points.
Yes, please do.
2 points for a win, and an extra 2 points if they do get a shutout.
Right.
So that's how we're scoring goaltending. So if hypothetically, say a goalie gets 25 wins, 5 shutouts, that's 55 or 60 points.
60 points.
60 points right there. So it works out to being, if you get a good goalie, it can work out to be getting into essentially a really top player in the SJHL.
Yeah.
Neugsie, you are back with another 2 picks. So you are on the clock whenever you are ready. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's had the start we all expected, but I think it's going to turn around, and it's going to turn around in a big way. I'm going to go with Mr. Justin Lees of the Flin Flon Bombers.
Good pick.
So yeah, amazed that he kind of lasted this long, but there we go. To go with Justin Lees, and then my next pick supposed to be ready and prepared.
That's okay. Take your time.
The back-to-backs are tough.
No, it is.
The back-to-backs are tough.
But I will say it allows me time to enter everything into the system. So I'm okay with it. You take your time.
Go.
And it's going to, you know what, to be fair, it will take a bit longer once we get kind of into the nitty-gritty. We're starting round 4.
Yeah. I'm going to go with another forward then. I'm going to go with the captain of Rory's beloved Humboldt Broncos, Mr. Cage Newens. He's just going to have a massive, massive year. He led the Broncos in scoring last year. So, Cage Newens.
There you go. All right, so back to me then.
That's a nice pick there, Neugsie.
Yep, I like that a lot. With my pick, I'm going to go back to the Sherwood division. I got to go back to the current undefeated Melfort Mustangs, and I'm going to go with Aiden Hutchinson for my selection.
Okay.
Aiden Hutchinson. There we go.
Good pick.
Thank you. Hope so.
He was the SGU MVP of the week, the first week
Absolutely,
of the
he was.
First week of the regular season. So Aiden Hutchinson is off the board, which means Rory, you are on the clock.
Yeah, it's getting a little tough now here because it is just a small sample size. So you're trying to look for players that maybe just haven't picked up a lot of points in the first 4. And you know what? I think I've found one. I don't think it's early for him. I just think it's a slow start. All the way down 76th overall in scoring through the first 4 games. Their team just needs to score some more goals. But I do expect Logan Linklater to stay healthy, and I think Logan Linklater can be well over a point per game. I'm going way down on the 3rd page of the league stats and taking Logan Linklater.
There you go.
I like that pick.
I like
that pick.
I have to remember who I've picked, so I don't pick too many.
Well, do you know what? Here's what I'll do is, after...
I think I'm okay.
we can do a little recap after round 5 if that works. Halfway through the draft, I'll do a little recap, just tell everybody what everyone's teams are and what everybody needs, because there are the requirements of a goalie and 2 defensemen. which means I am on the clock. I am going to go. Okay, well, with my first pick, I'm going to take from the Yorkton Terriers, Dylan Ruptash.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice. That was going to be my next pick. Well, I got to say something.
Stop.
I haven't said anything in a while.
You have said that. Take a drink anytime Clark said, "Oh, that was
Hey.
going to be my next pick."
I'm just
Good
helping
picks.
people have a good time.
I mean, well, okay.
Great picks. Yeah.
All right, touche. And for my what round are we in? 5th round pick.
Yeah, you're starting the 5th here. Yeah.
Yeah, 5th round pick. I'm actually going to go back to the Flin Flon Bombers, and I'm going to take rookie Trevor Stengline.
Nice. Okay. Good. Rory is back on the
We're
clock.
just expecting nonstop goals in the Sherwood division. That's a lot. That's a lot of Sherwood. Ruptash gone too, right? Okay.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
cross them off my list. All right. Well, I'll always take a quarterback of a power play, a quarterback of a PP1 on a team, and a quarterback of a team that led the league in power plays last year. I'll take rookie defenseman Connor Toohey from the
Nice.
Humboldt Broncos.
Nice. Got him. Now, Rory, you mentioned that you went all the way down to number 76 on the current scoring standings.
I did.
Current rankings. I'm going to 77. I'm going to go with the Estevan Bruins and Keegan Little. I'm going to take Keegan Little off the
That was
board.
my next one.
Again, like Rory said about Linklater, maybe not the hottest start in terms of putting up a bunch of numbers, but I do think at the end of the year, this guy's going to be near the top of the scoring leaders, and he's a big piece of that team. So I'm going to go with Keegan Little. I gotta get a Bruin as a former Bruin employee. I gotta get somebody from the Bruins, right? I might sneak one or two more before we're done here.
I mean, you could.
That's a terrific call.
Thank you.
All right, Neugs. If you just want to make one pick here first, and then I can recap because we'll be at the halfway point, that would be great. And then we can we can go from there, and we'll let you pick your second pick. So I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, this guy has impressed me so much. The team in front of him has impressed me so much. He's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to play a lot. Going to get a lot of wins. It's Mr. James Venn of the Melfort Mustangs. He's been terrific. So, James Venn.
So 3 goalies have been selected so far. There we go.
Okay, so we're
Recap.
halfway through the draft.
That concludes round 5.
That does conclude round 5. I'm just making sure I've got everything knocked off correctly and labeled properly. Okay, I think I do. Okay, so in recap, if you're keeping track at home, here's how I guess the teams play out. I'll list off everybody's teams. So for myself, I have Jacob Vockler, Mason Buchert, Rylan Silzer, Dylan Ruptash, and Trevor Stengline of the Flin Flon Bombers. Rory has Alexei Silvestri, Noah Houle, Ben Motu, Logan Linklater, and Connor Toohey of the Humboldt Broncos. Clark has Braxton Buckberger, Matthew Van Blaricom, Daza Mitchell, Aiden Hutchinson, Keegan Little of the Estevan Bruins. And then Neugsie has Chase Freetmore, Zach Summers, Justin Lees, Cage Newens, and James Venn. When it comes to the requirements, Neugsie has 1 defenseman and a goalie, so he's good on goalies. He just needs 1 more defenseman. Clark has his goalie. He does not have any defensemen.
Not yet.
Rory has both of his defensemen and his goalie. So Rory, you're good, my friend. You are all good for your requirements. You can take, of course, another defenseman if you wanted to. And I have 1 defenseman, and I still need a defenseman and a goalie.
There we go.
All right, Neugsie.
This starts round 6.
Whenever you are ready, we can start round 6.
Sure.
Now,
All
just
right,
so you know,
well,
Neugsie, you had that entire spiel to think about who you were going to pick here.
You did.
I know, and I've been tossing around a few ideas
Fair enough.
in my head, but I think this guy, again, not as fast start as he wants, but plays on a great team. Big power play minutes. He's going to be teeing up Cage Newens on that Humboldt Broncos power play. They love that one-timer. Cage Newens with that right shot, and this guy with the right shot on the right side of that Humboldt power play. I'm going to go with Mr. Dalen Weagle of the Humble
There you
Broncos.
go. There you go. Now, with my next pick, I'm strictly thinking about Team Clark's canteen. I know we talked about this last year on SJHL Weekly, the Buck Burger special. Team Clark is going to have special burgers for each of these guys in my concession.
Wow.
I am going to take Ronan Buckburger and complete the brother duo. I am going to become the Kindersley Clippers of this fantasy draft and have the most brothers on my team as possible.
Nice.
So I'm starting with the Buckburgers. Watch out the rest of the brother combos in the league.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned
for his last 4 picks. All brothers.
All brothers. Just watch
Just
out.
Does Daza Mitchell have another goalie brother?
I don't know. I'll have to look into that really quick.
Aiden Hutchinson, another brother.
The Dana Dirks, the assistant general manager of the Nipawin Hawks, reached out to me and he said they love that idea in Nipawin. So
They should
get on it.
2 for
We
1
talked
Buckburger.
about it. We
Get
gotta
on
get the
it.
Buck Burgers going.
Yeah,
I
I'll
wouldn't
take
be
2
surprised if
Ronans
it
and a
happened.
Braxton, please.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're called. That's what the burgers
That's a
would be
lot
called.
of food, Clarky.
Well, I mean, I'd share them.
Debatable.
Yeah.
Rory, you are on the clock whenever you're ready.
Yeah, really happy to have this guy fall to the 6th round. Top line player, top power play, and his line mates are already gone. So I'll complete it with Melfort Mustangs forward Ryan Duguay.
Nice.
That's a good pick.
Very good.
Ryan Duguay. Okay, cool.
Next up.
I know. We really should have got somebody to do the stat
Tabulate
or the Excel sheet for me because don't have much time.
Where's
to make the
Jacob
picks
Faith? Where's Faith, Daddy?
here. Gosh, who do I want to go with? What do I need? Oh yeah.
Here's
I
the
still
thing:
need to-
you have a lot of options. There are a lot of good
that
players
really
left.
narrows it down.
Am I helping?
No.
Good. I was trying to make it harder.
But I do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You know what? I do know where I'm going to go with this, actually. I will go with I'm going to take Clay Sleva, the Yorkton Terriers.
I'm going to pull a Clark and say that was my next pick.
That was your next.
Yeah, I'm going to take
pick.
Clay Sleva, and then I'm actually going to take Tyson Perkins as my second
Nice.
defenseman.
That was my next pick,
Double
maybe.
Yorkton.
But I have other options.
So now I'm set on defense. So we're all good. Label that as a defenseman.
There you go.
So Rory, you are on the clock whenever you're ready.
Yeah, once again, I'm going a guy top line, and if Matthew Van Blaircom's getting points, once this chemistry, which is already developing, becomes even more superior, centermen are going to set up their scores, and I love Patrick Lanthier of the Broncos this year. So 4 points in 4 games, I believe, to start. So it's not that slow of a start, but I'll take Van Blaircom, centerman, and Lanthier.
There you go. Just waiting for our data entry guy.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry,
you're good.
guys.
You're good.
I'm
good.
taking some time.
I just want to make sure we're all getting this. So far, now here's the thing. So far, hasn't been a duplicate pick yet. So proud of all of us, really. Proud of all of us. We're doing great stuff here. I'm going to go back.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry. Who did Rory?
Rory,
I was
redo your whole thing.
No. I'm behind on the Excel sheet. That's why. Sorry.
I might need to redo it because I was wrong. The Broncos have only played 3 games, but it's 3 points in 3 games, not 4 points in 4 games. But it is Patrick Lanthier. Yeah.
Okay, Patrick Lanthier. Okay, sorry.
There we go.
I thought I heard one thing, and then I just wanted to double check. Okay.
All right. My pick. Now, what are we in? Is this a 7th round?
We are in 7th round.
7th round. With my selection in the 7th round, I'm going to go back down to the southeast. We're going to go back to the black and gold. I need another defenseman. I'm going to take Felix Allard from the Estevan
That's a
Bruins.
great pick at this point.
And you know what? I'm looking at their team. He's got, out of their 5 points from the blue line, he's got 3 of them. And he's on the power play down there. Again, I'm banking on those Bruins. Those goals are going to start coming. And I think he's going to be a big part of it. So I'm going to go with Felix Allard from the Estevan Bruins.
And with
Crazy
that,
how the defending champion Battleford's North Stars are 7 rounds in and don't have a player taken off their team.
it is true. I was just going to add. So that means you're good on defense.
Good on defense and goalies.
You're good on. Everyone is good on requirements except for me. So
That's okay.
There you go.
You got some back-to-back picks coming.
Well, and to be honest with you, I had this strategy going into it, so kind of knew what I was. This was planned.
There you go.
Neugsie, you are up whenever you are ready.
Okay. With my next pick, I am going to the Viterra as well. I don't know how many people know about how good this kid is, but he has been incredible from Weyburn so far. Scores nothing but beauties, and he does in bulk. It's going to keep getting better. He's really, really good. It's Jeromy Maharaj, former Sherwood Park Crusader as well. But boy, when this guy gets a breakaway, he doesn't miss.
Yeah, so, clip it.
Jeromy Maharaj.
Clip it. Get it ready for highlight of the week.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, Neugsie, you are.
This is round number 8.
Round 8. 3 picks left, everybody.
Pardon me. Yes, with my next pick, I am going to. Let me think here. I'm going to go with a guy that plays on the team, that gets lots of points, and scores because they're in a lot of high-scoring games. And again, he's going to explode once the team, really figures it out. It's early; they've been disappointing, I'm sure, but they're going to figure it out. I believe it. It is Waterloo, Ontario native, where I went to university. Rain Hodge. He has been dynamic for L'Orange. So I'm going to go with Rain Hodge.
I like it. Gets me back on the board. So I am going to go now back all the way up to the north with this selection. And I'm going to go with William Forsberg from the L'Orange Ice Wolves. I'm going to bank on that hot start, and I'm going to ride it. I'm going to keep going. So William Forsberg, got you, buddy. Welcome to the Winners. I don't know if that's going to be my team name, the Winners, because I think that's a little bit cocky, but we'll see. I'll workshop it a little bit.
So this is my 8th pick, right? I get 2 more after this?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, William Forsberg, the 5th overall scorer in the SJHL right now, and lasted to the 8th round, I guess.
I find value where I find value.
That's why he's a savant. I'm saying he's a savant.
Again, you know what? I think I picked 3 out of 5 playoff players as Humboldt. They ended up in that low-scoring series and losing to Flin Flon, so ended up in 4th place. I'm going to double down because I have Lanthier. He's been on the same line with the 9th overall scorer in the SJHL right now, who's just a revelation after coming out of seemingly nowhere, a walk-on into camp for the Humboldt Broncos, made the team, and 2 points a game in his first 3. Travis Bryson is going to be my 8th pick.
Yeah. But Rory, you took my pick.
His shot is scary.
That was going to be my next pick. We should all just say
you're
that.
4 picks away.
We should all just say that. That was going to be my next pick.
That's a really good pick.
Yeah.
His shot is scary, guys. Like, it's scary.
Like, what kind of scary, Neugsie?
Like,
elaborate.
He's going to hurt somebody.
Oh,
he's going to hurt somebody.
Wow. Oh, we don't like that. That's violent.
I don't want anybody to get hurt, but it's going to happen.
I'm going to hear from Maddie from Van B that he's the only player on that top line that didn't end up on my team. I guarantee that I will hear it from him. So he'll be a Clark, a McGark fan now, not a Rory fan for this one, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not too upset with you. Hopefully he's not too upset with you. Okay, so we got back-to-backs here. So oh gosh, where do I want to go with this, guys?
You tell us, Jer.
I'm about to. I'm gonna go. We'll take, because Rory brought it up, I'm gonna take Jackson Allen of the Balfour Stars.
This is gonna be my next pick.
Clark.
Are you just saying that, or no?
He's doing that just because he knows I don't like it.
I would have been. It would have been.
It would have been.
I was actually legitimately considering the last pick taking him as well, but
fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. I mean, yeah, I'm actually surprised he lasted this long. You know what? I'm gonna take another. There's another player I'm gonna snag that I think has had a very good start to the season. Has built some good chemistry with his new teammates. And I'm going to take Evan Forrest of the Nipawin Hawks.
Nice. Leave it to a guy named Forrest to play on the Nipawin Hawks in the forest.
It's true. There's a lot a lot of forest
You could-
in that neck of the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seriously, it's a great fit.
All right, Rory, your second last pick.
Yeah, it's okay. You got to give me 1 second here because I
You
got
take
to
your time.
confirm.
You take your
something.
time. You take your.
Oh,
Got to
confirm
confirm
something.
something. Okay. Well, I mean, we've all been talking about how many top end players that they have lost, and we need someone to come in and replicate some goals and some points for the defending champions. I know how smart Clark and Neugsie are about fantasy and the SJHL together for both of them. This is a guy, he hasn't even played a game yet this year.
Oh, I know where he's
but I had
going.
to double check that he's on the roster. And he's got 21 points in 32 AJHL games last year. I loved him in Larange when I saw him in a small sample size. Hunter Bergeson has yet to play a game
Good
for the
pick.
North Stars. I'm taking him with my 9th pick.
That is a sneaky good pick.
Beautiful. All right.
Clark, you're up.
I've picked a couple guys in black and gold, black and yellow, black and gold, variations of the color yellow or gold.
Well, I mean, if you want me to run through,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. You love
4.
the shade of black and the
Yeah,
color
Wiz
yellow.
Khalifa might be our walkout song
Right.
for my team.
Right.
Black and yellow.
But the PG version of the song.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Family friendly. I'm going to stick with that color scheme.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Maguire Ratzlaff from the Nipawin Hawks. Only 1 goal in 4 games so far, but we saw what he did last year with goal scoring, and I just think that team is so high-powered, and they're going to be all year long. I just imagine he'll pick up a few more this season. So I'm going to go with Maguire Ratzlaff.
Clark's Bumblebees.
Yeah.
How's that for a team name?
I love it. Yeah, the worker bees. And I can steal the honeycombs off of Rory's wall.
There you go. The worker bees.
The worker
I like
bees.
that.
We're
All
good.
right, Neugsie, your last 2 picks.
Man,
Team
oh
News.
man, oh man. Guys kept picking all my next pick.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I've been struggling with the whole time.
Thanks. Let me see what I got here. I only got man. Well, I really so many.
Tough. This is the hardest part of the draft. Is the last
Yeah,
one.
it's getting tricky.
Yeah.
Getting tricky. I'm going to take a shot that this kid is going to stay healthy. Health has not been his friend, unfortunately, but cross your fingers. But when he's played for Kindersley, he's been great. I'm going to go with the older Cox brother. I'm going to go with Logan Cox, 20-year-old forward. When he's healthy, he'll produce for Kindersley. So hopefully he stays healthy all year for Team Nuke.
All right, Team Nukes. We're in round number 10.
Now,
the final round.
Neugsie has a chance to tie me with brothers.
He
has
does.
a chance.
He does. You're right. He does have a chance to tie you with brothers. That potential is
I'm
there.
nervous. I'm a little nervous.
That is potential.
Yeah.
And now I need another one, eh? Another pick.
Yeah, you got one more.
Yeah, you still got one more pick there, Nukes.
Yeah, I know. And I don't have anybody from my own team.
That's okay. It's round 10's a tricky one because obviously there still are a lot of good players available.
So many good ones.
Yeah.
And similar to what Rory said earlier is obviously we are a week and a half, 2 weeks into this season, small sample size, so you can see, who has got off to a good start. But then there's some players that just haven't, but that we expect to be very good. So the 10th round's a tricky one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a guy that hasn't had the start he's wanted, but you don't want to talk about an incredible human being and a guy that we all know can put the puck in the net. Maybe the best trade, one of the best trades last year between Notre Dame and Kindersley to get Carson Bayless.
Nice.
3rd round pick for a Carson Bayless who scored 20 for Notre Dame. I'm going to go with the captain of the Notre Dame Hounds, Carson Bayless, who will turn it around and be a big piece for Team Nukes.
Absolutely.
Proud member of Team Nukes, Carson Bayless.
Lose
We all knew. Here's the thing.
He could be your team captain, too.
He could be.
Yeah.
You got 10 players on your team. We all know that Carson Bayless, big Team Nukes guy.
Yeah.
So, Clark, your final pick.
Final pick. Now, I literally have 6 names that I'm just, spiraling around.
Put them in a hat and then
put them in a
pull one
hat.
out.
I I love the way that Rory went about his selection with Hunter Bergeson at a recent trade acquisition for a team.
Okay.
And I'm going to go back to the Maroon up in Flin Flon, and I'm going to take Ashton Paul.
I like that.
I'm going to take Ashton Paul with my last pick. Point per game last year in the MJ.
Yep.
And I think he's in a great situation in Flin Flon to just continue that. So I'm hoping for some late round value out of Ashton Paul.
Very nice.
That's a heck of a sleeper.
That is a
really good sleeper.
He's only played 2 games, so I'm hoping he's got 3 points. So I'm going with it.
All right, Rory, your final pick.
Yeah, and I'm going to be the only one, unless Jeromy goes ahead and does it, a candidate for defenseman of the year. And I'm happy with a D-man that I believe can have a floor, like minimum of 40 points. For my 10th pick, that is exactly where I think he's going to be at. The only thing that's going to be embarrassing is if one of you already picked him, because I wouldn't be surprised. But Leith Olofsson of the Melfort Mustangs. I'm going to take 3 defensemen in this draft.
It's a really good pick. Would have been my next pick if we had an 11th round.
Yeah, that's right.
Would have been.
So, and here's the funny thing, Rory. Though here's the funny thing you mentioned. I can't do that because
You cannot.
I cannot because I still need a goalie.
Oh, you were saving it for last.
This was my strategy going into the entire draft. We have talked about all year so far the strength of the great goaltending in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. So I said, what's the rush? What's the rush?
And you're going to end up with a good one.
There's a lot of good ones available still. So it's really, who would I like to take now? Well, obviously, a few have been sorted out.
You're going to break some hearts here, Jer.
I am. So I just want to say, whoever I pick, I don't think you're a 10th round pick. It was just all strategy when it comes to picking a goalie, because I wanted to. This is how I was going to do strategy wise. Obviously, Clark, that was a great pick with Dazza Mitchell, Ben Motu by Rory, James Venn. There's a lot of different ways I could go about this pick. But for me, I think I have to go with the guy that at the beginning of the year I thought was going to be SaskTel goalie of the year. And I have to go with Cam Hrdlicka of the Estevan Bruins.
The reigning shutout.
And I mean, we saw the capabilities of him last year. When he's on his game, he can definitely put up the shutouts and steal some wins. So I'm going to take Cam Hrdlicka as my goalie.
Love it.
And very happy with it for the very last pick of the draft.
Love it.
So there you have it. 10 rounds in the books. We didn't do one single double up.
Wow. I think that's the best part of the draft right there. No duplicates.
Guys, I'm proud of us. Look at us. Look at us.
With no central registry.
And
we did it.
No nothing. I have a spreadsheet in front of me.
That's great. Let's just do 10 more rounds. Can we go to 20?
You know what?
Let's go.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Just have a full roster.
But I can quickly rattle off these teams. It's going to be a lot of reading, but that's okay.
It's okay.
I'll start with Neugsie. So I'm just going to read last names just to save on time. Freetmore, Summers, Lees, Newens, Venn, Weagle, Maharaj, Hodge, Cox, and Bayless. Clarkie, you got both Buckburgers.
Yes.
Which a lot of emphasis on that.
The concessions are going to be fire.
The concessions bumping at the Clark Monroe Memorial Arena.
Oh no.
Van Blaricom, Mitchell, Hutchinson, Little, Allard, Forsberg, Ratzlaff, Paul. Rory has Silvestri, Houle, Motu, Linklater, Tui, Duguay, Lanthier, Bryson, Bergson, and Olofsson. And of course, like Rory mentioned, he is the one team to pick 3 defensemen. And then I have Vockler, Buchert, Silzer, Ruptash, Stenglein, Sleva, Perkins, Allen, Forrest, Hrdlicka. Or a great team. I think this is going to be close, guys. I think these are some really good teams. I think we did really good.
I got one thing to mention.
Yeah.
And I'll toss it out there, see if you guys agree, because we know junior hockey, there's a lot of movement, right?
Yeah.
There could be some injuries, right? So I'm thinking mid-season, after the Christmas break, we come back together and we have a 3-round draft if we need to take 3 players out, and we can bring in 3 different players. We'll redo the seed, but it'll just, if a guy gets acquired in November from out of league, right? We'll do 3 rounds after the Christmas break, and that'll be it until playoffs. What do you guys think about that?
And it would. So
let's do it on January 9th, right before the trade deadline.
Absolutely not. That's already a busy enough time.
Yeah, you're right.
So I guess my question to that would be, so you don't have to make 3 picks, but you could.
Yeah, you can pass.
If you're happy with your team, you're happy with your team, and you don't need to.
Now, I guess, does that include if you just want to swap a guy, or does it have to be an injury or a trade? Yeah.
I would say it has to be an injury or trade where they're not in the league anymore. You can't take a guy out because he's under.
You might break some hearts doing that, though, Rory.
Whose?
We might break some players' hearts. They're not on fantasy teams anymore.
Well, if he's not in the SJHL.
Well, okay, fair enough.
That's the baseline. That's the baseline.
We can't do it on the day before the trade deadline then, because
we probably have to do it January 11th.
At least
after.
What?
Let's look at the calendar here.
Yeah. We'll figure that out. We'll come back to that. We'll figure that out.
It could be January 11th. It's a Thursday.
We got some time to figure this out. We have some time to figure this out. We're gonna make a graphic to show our teams. And then throughout the months on our shows, we will update everybody where everyone's at with our fantasy teams. I guess just quickly, Neugsie, your thoughts on Team Neugs?
I think top 6 are like guarantees for me. The 7th to 10th picks are guys I believe in even more than sort of sure things. It would be easier in this world if I just had 10 sure things. Obviously, I'm sure you guys maybe feel that way about your teams, but can't base it all on the first couple weeks in the season. That's all.
For sure. Rory, what about you?
Yeah, really happy. I think I got some top end talent. I really went hard after top lines and top power plays and top pairing defensemen, and I think I got like 8 out of 10 of my guys, if not more, are in that spot right now. So I'm happy.
Clark.
I have 10 sure things, so I'm feeling great. I like my team.
Okay.
And best concession and best name, Daz and Mitchell too. So I got all fronts. I'm feeling good.
We'll see if that leads to success.
Yeah.
In the SJHL Fantasy.
I've always found if you have a kid with the best name, you're usually gonna win. So
we still need to make an SJHL all named team of the best names in the SJHL for sure. And I'm happy with my team as well. I'm glad that all 4 of us are very happy with our 4 teams, but it'll be a lot of fun to keep track of across the SJHL social media channels throughout the season. And best of luck to all of our teams moving forward. Guys, thanks for doing this.
Thanks.
This was awesome. Thank you, guys.
And just like that, the fantasy draft is in the books. Hearts are broken. Some living rooms where people were watching, where players in the SJHL were watching the live draft feed. Some are cheering, some are sad about where they were selected. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody's happy with their teams.
Yeah.
And
but you know what they say about drafts? Just because you weren't drafted now, it's not the end of the line.
It's true.
You have to keep working hard, and sometimes the best players are the undrafted ones. And
this is true.
This could come back around. So.
This is very true.
Absolutely.
And for future years, if we do this again, we are definitely going to have somebody off to the side entering
doing all the work.
Because that was extremely difficult. Because I did not really have any time to even look up who I wanted to pick.
Yeah, that was tough for you. Absolutely.
But you know what? Still happy with my team.
Good.
Still happy with my team.
You should be.
All right. So let's quickly preview this weekend. Obviously, it is Thanksgiving long weekend. Hopefully, you have lots of plans and are able to spend time with family this weekend. But let's take a look at all the games this weekend, starting with Friday in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. 5 games on the schedule. We talked about Notre Dame. They got 3 games in 3 nights. Taking on Flin Flon Friday and Saturday. Kindersley and Estevan playing 2 down at Affinity Place. Melville's hosting LaRange. Nipawin welcomes Battlefords to kick off a home-and-home. And then Weyburn is in Melfort on Friday, which should be a great contest. Then on Saturday, a lot of rematches Saturday of Friday night's games. Notre Dame and Flin Flon once again. LaRange will wrap up 4 and 5 as they return matchup against Yorkton from that game on Wednesday. Kindersley and Estevan once again. Same with Melfort and Weyburn, as well as, of course, Nipawin and Battlefords will play the second half of their home and home that time at the ACC in Battleford. Then just the one game on Sunday as the Humboldt Broncos welcome the Notre Dame Hounds. Note the start time 4 o'clock at the EPA for the lone game on Sunday. And then on Monday, one game as well. And note the start time 2 o'clock. The Melville Millionaires visit the Estevan Bruins. Those two teams have already met twice this year. Both have been close games. The home teams won every contest between them as well. So lots of hockey this weekend, Clark. Of course, it's a long weekend, 12 games in the span of 4 days. What is your game?
I have one.
Game of the weekend. What's your game of the weekend?
I'm going to Friday nights, Weyburn at Melfort.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially undefeated teams. We see Weyburn with the hot start. We talked about them a lot earlier in the show. Plus my starting goaltender for my fantasy hockey team, Daz Mitchell. I imagine that you're gonna see the top goaltenders for each team on the Friday night, and I just think that both teams want to, I don't know, send a message. I guess it's going to be a big game. It's a big game. It's a big early season game. It's a BESG, a big early season game.
You could just say big early season game.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think too for both teams, I think it's kind of a measuring stick game.
Sure, absolutely.
Because when you look at both Weyburn and Melfort's start to the season when it comes to their schedules, I would say a bit lighter on the schedules, on the easier side of things. So I think it'll be a good test for both those hockey clubs. So I think that's two
of the top 3 goal differential teams.
I think that's a very good pick, and I do think, when you look at the grand scheme of things for the 4 days when it comes to the games, I do think that would be probably the way a lot of people are leaning for a game of the week.
The big one.
Or one that you're keeping your eye on the most. I'm going to go with another game on Friday. But it's not, it might not be the sexiest game. But I'll say this, it's a game that I'm keeping my eye on because I want to see how both of these teams kind of respond, and that's Kindersley at Estevan.
Oh, yeah.
Because Kindersley, they're 1-3 on the season. They've lost 2 in a row. 2 very, tough losses to Nipawin and Melfort. Now, they've had a tough schedule to the start of the season, the Kindersley Clippers. Obviously, a home and home against the defending champs. You split that, and then a tough little 2-game road trip up north against 2 very good teams. Meanwhile, the Bruins, they split their games against Melville, and then they lost both games to the Weyburn Red Wings last weekend. And you know what? I'll say this.
Tough weekend.
I was at the game Saturday. They played very well, but they got stoned shut by Daz Mitchell in between the pipes, who was superb in that game. So I'm curious to see how both those clubs, I think it's a big game for both of them because obviously both teams are looking to try and get back in the win column, but I think both teams might agree they haven't played their best hockey yet to start the season. There's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So that, for me, that's a very more intriguing matchup because they're teams that are kind of off to slow starts that I think we can comfortably say, at least all 4 of us agreed that we expect both these teams to be pretty good this year.
Yes.
So that's where my intrigue comes going into the weekend.
Great selection.
But of course, if you can't make it out to the rink for any of these games this weekend, I get it. It's Thanksgiving long weekend. You might want to spend time with family. You might want to do
family at the rink.
You could spend time with your family at the rink. That's right, Clark. But you could just spend time with your family at home. That's perfectly fine too. But you know what? If you don't want to miss any hockey, you can watch all the games on Flow Hockey this year, and you can stay up to date with everything in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League by following us across all of our social medias. Like us on Facebook, follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once again, thank you so much for all the support on the YouTube channel. We have surpassed 1,000 subscribers. We are very thankful for that, but we want to keep on going. So just log into with your Gmail, hit the subscribe button. It's free, and stay up to date with everything in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League this year. And we have to give a big shout out to our sponsors, as always. Of course, this show is presented by UPL, and UPL presents all of our shows, SJHL Weekly, Insider, the special shows, you name it. But also a big shout out to all of our other great sponsors: Borgo, Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Great Western, Nutrient RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, Sask Lotteries, Tourism Saskatchewan, UPL, Sask Energy, SGU, SGI, thank you so much for your support, because without your support, these shows, they're not possible. Hopefully you all enjoyed this special edition of SJHL Insider with the fantasy draft. It was a lot of fun, Clark.
I know I enjoyed it.
That's it?
It was a lot of fun. Okay. I know what I was nervous going into it, but I think all 4 teams are going to come out, and it's going to be come out great, and I think it's going to be a real fun season.
I think it's going to be a great. Well, it's already been a great start to the season,
fun season,
but now we've thrown a little wrinkle that everybody can kind of keep track of.
Yeah,
going into the season, which is really exciting. No games tonight in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League if you're watching this on Thursday, but the action starts Friday night. Busy weekend, 12 games, 4 days. Starts Friday night with 5 games. Get out to your local rink to watch any of the contests, but if you can't, watch it on Flow Hockey. That's been another episode of SJHL Insider. For Clark Monroe, my name is Jeromy Corrigan, and enjoy the games this weekend, everyone.